you're guaranteed a Republican form of government. There's only one problem with that clause. That has been held many times in court that is a legislative remedy. In other words, if we find that we don't have a Republican form of government, which we don't, you can't sue for it. You have to petition the legislature and have them fix it. There's just a problem with that. That's kind of like petitioning the fox and telling him to be careful in the hen house. And he's going to say to you, well, I don't see a problem. I think everything's working just great. And that's how it is in California. So let's go back a little bit further. When the Founding Fathers came here, they came here to avoid something, and that was tyranny. They came after the Grand Remonstrance and the Glorious Revolution and the English Bill of Rights in 1689. They came here because the monarch in England was failing to follow God's law. Now, when I say God's law, I'm not talking about church law. What I'm talking about is natural law. Those were the laws that people assumed to be God-given laws. And those were your inalienable rights. Excuse me. Those were your natural rights, what John Locke called pre-civilization, or what William Blackstone said, pre-societal rights. In other words, William Blackstone said that certain rights you have because you're born a human being. The analogy I used at the Second Amendment rally yesterday was even a dog has the ability to defend himself, but you don't, because in California the Second Amendment's been banned. Even a raccoon can defend himself. Why? Because no one can stop him. He has claws and teeth, and they're kind of nasty, and when you push him into a corner, they're going to bite you and scratch you and maybe give you rabies or something. But you as a human being don't have those tools. However, William Blackstone said you were born free and independent, and as such, you enjoy certain inalienable rights. Well, oddly enough, that very sentence is found in the California Constitution in Article 1, Section 1. We were born free and independent beings. Why were we born free and independent? How does that work? That was God's law. That's the natural law, God's law, that the first settlers to this nation were talking about. Because God is the most free expression in the universe. Nobody tells God what to do. He's perfectly free. And so if you follow this logic as a religious argument, if you're a Christian like I am, but as a legal argument if you're not a Christian, because the legality of this is very important, and that's where these violations come from. So let's follow this as a legal case or a moral case, however you want to take it. If God created you in His image, which the founders knew to be true, which I know in my heart to be true, I live that way every day. I believe that. I read the Bible every day. I see it all the time. I see it in each one of you, and I see it in the world we live in. So if God was born free and independent, and you were created in His image, then you also were born a free and independent being. And as such, you enjoy certain rights that are indelibly linked to you. William Blackstone said these were the natural rights or the pre-societal rights. You have these rights whether you participate in government or not. Because remember, to participate in society is not mandatory, it's a choice. When the colonists came here, when the first people came and started the state of California, they weren't saying, well gosh, I'm here, so I better find the government to take care of me. There was no government. There was no government here waiting for you to show up so they could subjugate you or tell you what to do. It didn't exist. The people that came here formed the government for a very specific reason. They did so because, as in the Mayflower colony and the Mayflower Charter, what they outlined was that one man is only capable of certain things. One guy can cut down a tree, but one guy alone, without help, can't drag it over to build a cabin out of it. It takes many guys or some mechanical advantage, a bunch of mules or something. But what they were talking about is that several people, several families who band together with a common cause and with a common goal can accomplish great things that one man can't accomplish by himself, not the least of which is the defense of the people involved. That's not the least of it. They can build things, they can create things, they can improve their lives, they can be more efficient, they can help one another when they need help. We can create farms and communities and hospitals. We can do things together that an individual can't possibly accomplish alone. That's why we have society. That's why we have civilization. Not because we like to live this close to our neighbor, but because it allows us to do certain things that we couldn't possibly do alone.